Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Namofsky. Today, our topic is reverse mortgages. Yvonne, there was a census study recently, November 2024. What was it about?
We decided to go out and survey just general population and their age demographic, 55 plus, and find out more about how they're feeling about getting into the retirement, what's important to them, what's top of mind, what's stressing them out. And the findings were really interesting. We found we learned a number of different things. We learned that life in your 50s is very, very stressful. People are trying to figure out what the end of their careers look like, usually end up being the sandwich generation. Kids are at school or graduating, and we're looking after our parents. And then happiness actually increases in your 70s and 80s. So it's a very, very happy time. And we found that the one of the most important thing to people as they age is freedom. So having the emotional freedom and also practical freedom to do the things that they want to do.
That's important. The finding is very important because you never think about being super stressed when you're in your 50s. You think about just grinding, focusing, and looking at the next steps. But I guess a lot of the stress would be making sure that you have enough money to retire with.
Yes, absolutely. So, different themes start to emerge in your 50s. So, you're starting to wind out your career one way or another. Even if you're going to work another, 10 years, you're starting to think about, what the exit is going to look like. And then you start to think about what am I actually going to do in retirement? Because that's a big existential crisis for a lot of people because we're so tied to raising our kids if we have them, and then we're so tied to our careers. What am I going to do at 65 for another 20, 25 years? So that's stressful. And then the money part, right? So if half of the people retiring or heading into retirement only have $50,000, that becomes very real, and they don't have a lot of runway. Then you start to layer in divorces, so great divorce. Then you start to layer in parents getting sick and having to help, find care for them, etc. And it's just so many different things that come at people at once. It can be extremely, extremely stressful. And then men and women um, respond to it very differently.
Yeah, this is very, very true. Let's talk about women. Women make less than their male counterparts. We make about 87 cents to the dollar that a man makes. We live much longer, so we have to make sure that our savings last a lot longer for us. And you talked about the sandwich generation, and we're natural caregivers as well. So
Yes.
we have three strikes against us when we head into retirement. But I want to ask you, what are the differences between men and women in retirement?
So it's really interesting because the nurturing nature of women kind of carries into the retirement. So even though all these three things are stacked against them, women throw themselves into community. Women tend to be more in service for others. So they're the ones looking after their aging parents and their husband's aging parents. They're the ones making sure that the adult kids are all right. And oftentimes, because they do live longer, they start to face financial difficulties later on because they're used to husbands managing money. Older generation was not very good at communicating about money. So sometimes when the husband passes away, women are not even familiar with the day-to-day finances or the state of their finances because it's such a taboo. And men, when they get into retirement, and they're healthy and they can have lengthy retirement, they are more focused on organizing the financials. They're more focused on projects. They're more focused on, having the hobbies. Women are, like for most of their life, very, very nurturing and involved in community, and men start to focus more on finances and enjoying retirement.
I think you brought up a really good point. Women need to really, pull up our sleeves and start understanding the finances, start understanding what's happening in our households, where the money goes, because a lot of times their spouse ends up dying before them and they have no
Yes.
idea where the finances are or how to deal with them.
Absolutely. And, these women come to us because sometimes there wasn't enough money, to last for retirement, and they don't know what to do. And we have very in-depth conversations, probably sometimes the first time they've ever actually talked to someone about money in this way. And
Hold that
my
thought.
advice.
Hold that thought, Yvonne. We'll be right back.